Looking at the project planner, if we go to current contract, we can see here we have a contract duration of 28 days. That's from the contract start date to the contract completion date. So if I was to change that, say to the 15th, you can see now that it works out that we have 13 days for the contract. So I'll pop that back to the 30th. And also we have a completed percentage. Now this is from the bill items that have been indicated as complete. So if I go to the bill items and let's say we click the removals being completed and then go back to home screen, you can now see that the completed percentage is 20. So if I just put that back to being incomplete, and then we can see that returns to there. So we've got three main areas. We've got the bill items where it lists the costs and the cost to date, but also we can see what schedule, what particular area it's in at the moment, whether it's been dispatched or not, whether it's been completed. We then have the production status, where if you're using the timesheet tracker system, you can see that it's tracked through the various departments. Similarly, we can add in a scheduled start, the production status, and where it is in factory at that point, whether it's being completed. And then we have the new area, the project planner, where we can start to build up various sub-trades and our works within the contract. These have got a shortcut key to save you having to click. Simply by clicking F1 will give you the bill items, F2 the production status, and F3 the project planner. You'll also see from here we've got a little calendar and it's showing you how many days left we've got from the start date of the contract. So although this is showing the number of days, we're on day 11. In fact, we're on the 13th and we've got until the 30th to complete the work. So to add in a new operation, we simply click the Add Operation button and then we add the details of the operation. So we can free text and type anything we like, or we can select an item from the bill listing. So we could say to remove and dispose the existing redundant light fittings. It will give it the bill reference code, and then I can say who is going to be doing the works. We'll say that it's going to be the James Electrical. We can then select James Electrical from our listing. And now we need to say what their start date and what their end date is. Now, although this is showing me the current date that we're on, if I click on the start date, we can enter retrospectively. So we can say that we want them to start on the 3rd, and then we want them to complete, let's say, on the 6th. You can see here that it's automatically put the 3rd, that was my start date in there, it's just highlighted it. And then I just pick the date that I want them to complete. So it's starting on day 2, ending on day 5, and it's a duration of 3 days. And then just click Enter Save. And then you can see we've got our first line of entry in there. And also it's beginning to graph it, so we can see that the completed hasn't happened yet, our start date and our predicted end date. So if we add in another operation, let's say for our works to do the removals, so to remove and dispose of existing stub petitions, contract, I'm just going to say it's us, and then ignore the fact that I need to drag anybody in from the address system. Start date, we're going to actually start on the 1st, or we can only start on the 2nd because that's when the contract starts, and we will end by the 7th. Click Enter Save. Let's add another operation. You can see now we're beginning to build up a graphical picture as well. So if we supply and dispose, let's say supply and install stub petitions. So again, we could say that's us. Now we can use this table here to see where we're up to. So I can see that we've removed and disposed of the existing stub work, and we're completing that by the 7th. So we might be ready to start building the new on the 8th. And let's say we hope to complete that by the Sunday on the 12th. And then we can see we've added another entry in there. And we just go through adding in all our subtrades. I'm just going to add a couple more. So we're going to jump ahead and say we're going to install the ceiling. I'm just going to pop this in the future. Let's say we're going to do that on the, say the third, sorry, I need to click on here on the 13th. And let's say we complete on the 16th. So we've now got the specialist ceilings in there. Now let's say we want to add another item in, say, well, I want to make a note that we're removing the carpet tiles on a particular date before the suspended ceiling. So we add an operation and we'll enter free text to say remove existing carpet tiles to area. And we'll say that it's going to be us. And we're going to do that, say, on the 3rd. So I click the 3rd and it'll only take a day. So we'll say we finish on the 4th. Now you can see at the moment that's dropped in position number 5. Okay, it still showed us on the graph where things have got to be done, but it'd be nicer if it was in date order. So if I reorder this by the date order and then simply say reset operation order, that will now put that in the correct order for us, so we can then have a more graphical picture of when things are occurring. If I need to change anything, simply double click and amend the date or details as required. So let's say actually we're going to finish that on the 16th. And so we build up the picture from there. If I want to see this graph in a slightly larger area, just click show full size and it takes you to a larger screen. Thing to remember here, this is not a date, this is the day number the work's being carried out. Now, once works are beginning to be carried out and starting to be completed, we could either go to our bill items or our production status and simply say it's completed. Then if we look at our project planner, you can see this automatically put the date that it was completed in and the date, and it's now moved the completion up to the date it was. But let's say that that was actually completed on the 6th rather than the 13th. So I simply say the 6th of the 9th of 21, and you can see now it actually puts that in the correct place. Similarly, if I finished our work on the 6th there or the 7th, I'll simply type in the date. See now that the green completed spot moves to the completed date. Now, if we went over the date, so let's say the electrical took longer, let's say they went to the 8th, you'll see now that graphically the completion date still remains the same, our targeted completion date, but the actual completion date has moved. And I could then just type here to say extra works were required for whatever reason. And you'll now notice as well, with me entering the date in there, it will go to the bill item and indicate that the bill item has been completed as well. And that is all there is to the project planner.